Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday, a crazy Tuesday for LinkedIn today. So we hope you see us and we're going to just get stuck in. So I have the man, my mentor, all around whoop-de-doo. I got John Espirian in the house today and we are talking about an amazing topic. We are talking about, let me find my banner, Uplift Live Conference, a behind the scenes look. So, John, before we get stuck in, can you please just introduce yourself, tell people who you are and what you do, and then we'll start chatting.
Sure. Thanks for having me again, Gillian. It's yes, I'm John Espirian. I call myself the relentlessly helpful LinkedIn nerd. I used to be a copywriter. I'm now a LinkedIn trainer and consultant, and I run my own community called Espresso Plus. And I'm now taking on the responsibility for co-organizing Uplift Live, which is the UK's first LinkedIn focused conference. And I'm delighted to be here to talk about it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm excited because I'm going to the conference. I'm speaking at the conference. It's like a dream come true for me because I'm so selfish. I've always wanted to come to the UK because I'm British born abroad anyways, but I've always wanted to come back to the UK since COVID ended and meet all the lovely people. And I always thought so it would take me months to meet everybody. No. I can meet everybody all in one place. So it's like, oh, dream come true. So speaking of dreams, John, let's go back in time and tell us how this whole conference began with a dream.
Well, I tell you what, I dug out an old tweet from early 2021 where I wrote, one day I'm going to host an event that will gather together all of my Friday Shout Club members. There were only 130 people in the Friday Shout Club at the time. And I tweeted it and put it out into the universe and forgot about it. But recently, in the last few months, I was just thinking that there isn't an event specifically about LinkedIn. There's loads of marketing events out there, but there isn't something where you can really go deep on this topic. And I thought I could sit here for the rest of my life and wait for someone else to do it, or I could just do it. So I spoke to some people in the Espresso Plus community and we said, yeah, we can do this. And we can invite speakers from around the world and we can make a really memorable event. And so that's what we've been planning for the last 3 months. And here we are. We've got our speakers pretty much sorted. And we're 6 months away from the UK's first LinkedIn conference.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. And I love this because it's global. Like it's being hosted in the UK, but this is not for just people who are in the UK. This is a world event. You know, Jeremy Freeman, he's beautiful. He's got a little map with push pins. And I told him about a week ago, I said, you're going to need a bigger map because it's just expanding with the people that are coming. So John, we've got people coming from Europe. We've got people coming from the United States. Let's get the Canadians on board. Come on. Well, I'm Canadian, so I'm coming from Israel, Canada, the United States, and Britain. So I get to represent my 4 countries. But we have speakers coming from all over. So can you just, because I'll mess it up, can you just run down our speakers so far, because we have not got to the end of the reveal, speaker reveal. So where are we at today?
Yeah, so we've got Louise Brogan, who's coming from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, to talk about company pages. We have Kevin D. Turner, who's coming out of Dallas, Texas, to talk about some advanced LinkedIn strategies and new features. We've got you talking about live stream video. You're coming to us from Las Vegas. We have Nigel Cliff, who's, for me, one of the top LinkedIn trainers in the UK, who's coming down from Halifax to join us in Birmingham. I'm going to be taking the stage, which is, no great surprise. It's my own conference. I'm coming up from Wales for this. And we've got Tina Jarvet, who's coming over from Belgium. And she's going to be talking about LinkedIn Recruiter and search tactics as well. So it's a great lineup. We've still got 2 people to announce. And I think we're really aiming at the apex operators of LinkedIn. I've used that phrase over and over because this is not going to be a superficial event. This is going to be real experts at the top of their game talking about the topic that we love, which is LinkedIn, the community, and the networking and business potential you get from this place is unparalleled, I think. So it's going to be one to remember, Gillian.
I love it. I love it. And it's like, it's the first. And so, we always want to be like, I'm envisioning you're going to probably come over to the United States. We're all, the whole of America is going to fight over this. And then the Canadians are going to get in, and, everybody else is going to be a part of this. But, I know in the future, this will continue, and we'll get Australia on board. We'll get New Zealand on board. We'll probably get India on board. We'll get everybody on board. You're
Let's
going to
hope
be
so.
like a road show. But
Mm.
this is the first, and there's just something so special about the first. So, John, how did you, like, behind the scenes, can you kind of let us know, like, something like this? It's epic. It is epic. It takes a mission control. So can you please shout out your mission control team?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have done this alone, because we've got different skills. So I'm being joined by Espresso Plus members, Jeremy Freeman, who is a content writer, the human content writer, and Gus Bandal, who is a social media expert. He's a trainer in lots of different social media platforms. He specializes in LinkedIn, but he can do a whole range more than I can do. And those guys have got events experience, which I don't. So things like finding a venue, working out which hotels people should stay in, sorting out food, working a ticketing system, the admin and the logistics side of things that I've no real experience with, those guys are good at. And whereas I've got the LinkedIn domain experience and hopefully the experience to pull in the speakers and the audience from around the world. And we decided early on that this event's not going to work unless we get the best of the best coming to speak. So if we can get speakers on board, then selling the tickets becomes much easier, instead of just saying, trust us, we'll have some good stuff lined up. So I started very early approaching people without any idea of what the venue was going to be, how many tickets we'd sell, how much we were going to charge. But I just said, look, if we can get, people like you, Gillian, people like Kevin, and others involved in this project, then we'll get some momentum. So that's one of the first things we did, is to approach speakers. And I was amazed that, with one exception, and that's because of a travel plan, everyone has said yes to my approach. I'm really touched that people would travel across the world to come to be speakers, and actually even more touched that some people are traveling across the world to be in the audience. I never thought that would happen, because frankly, if that was going to be the value proposition, I probably would have gone for London. But London's really expensive and very, very busy compared with Birmingham. So I'm really glad with the place that we're going, and just the attendee list is filling me with excitement. So I really can't wait for this thing.
I love it. I love it. And to be honest, when you go to England, it's nice. Like, London is an amazing city, but part of a feel for England is getting out into the English countryside and seeing part of England. So for anybody who is on the fence, and maybe they're in America and they're like, okay, I've never been to England. This gives you the ability to, like, fly into London and then take a
Yeah.
train 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to be doing,
Yep.
flying into London, taking the train 2 hours. You'll get to see the beautiful English countryside and sheep and walls and green grass. That's a big thing from Las Vegas. Liz. We don't have any grass here. So it's just like a whole new world. But so why did you pick, and I'm going to just butcher this. I would say Birmingham, because I'm an American. I got an American accent. I'm going to ham it up. But you say it so elegantly, Birmingham. Or
Yeah.
I don't know how you say it, but it sounds so nice. But why did you pick that place in
It's our
particular?
second city, so we've got more than 1 million people there. So it's a large city by our standards, but compared with 10 million in London, it's nowhere near that size. And the network transport links are really, really good. So whether you're coming from the south of the UK or from the north, or you're coming into Heathrow Airport and taking a train, as you say, or a coach, the network travel network is good. And the cost for the venue that we're getting, we're going to actually go and see it for the first time on Friday. But Gus has been there as an audience member for another event, and he said it was excellent. So I'm going to go and see it for myself. And I've got every confidence in him that it's going to be a fab venue. Getting something like that in London would maybe have cost us 3 times the price. So it means that we can keep our ticket prices reasonable. But this is a premium event. So, best speakers, good quality food, good quality venue. It's going to be fab.
Wow. And speaking of food, my sister, I just have to put in a plug for my sister. My sister, she looked up Birmingham, and killing it. But anyways, she looked up Birmingham and she said, I think Cadbury's is headquartered there. So
Yes,
she
that's
said,
right.
please bring me back some chocolate.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and maybe Tina will bring us some Belgian chocolate so we could have like a chocolate,
Oh, I hope
shout
so.
out
That'd be
and
fantastic. Yes, please.
see
Yeah,
how it goes. See how it goes. So you basically you picked the city first. So you picked this is where we're going to do it. Or did
yeah.
you start with the speakers? Sort of like if you kind of said, here's like tick, 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 what you
Yeah,
did.
I'd probably say the venue first because we thought, well, where can we get people to congregate? But at that time, to be honest, I thought almost everyone was going to be UK based, and I wasn't expecting an international audience. But then the speakers came shortly after that, and then we had to move into things like, okay, well, how would we actually sell the tickets, and what would we even charge for this thing? So we had to discuss those things about strategy for releasing stuff into the world. And we wanted to build a bit of FOMO into this as well. So we were talking about what can we do to have a bit of surprise and delight around the event, but also to build up some expectation. So getting started early and drip feeding information out was part of our strategy. And as you've seen, you've had to be very patient in telling the world that you were involved, but you were one of the early speaker announcements. So it wasn't as bad for you as it has been for some other people. But we thought, well, we could try and announce everyone in one go and maybe we'd have a massive hit of sales. But actually, I'm interested to see, as an eager experimenter, what happens if you don't tell people who the speakers are and then you release one person's name? What does that do to sales? What happens when you get to 5 people's names? And the reason I'm doing this, apart from building up that kind of suspense, is also because I want to create some content around what does it take to run a conference. So I'm journaling. I'm taking notes about what is the exact process, and there's loads of things. We wouldn't have time to get into it all today, but I'm going to be creating that for the Espresso Plus community to say, look, if you ever want to run an event, this is how we did it as a trio, and maybe you can learn from our successes and any failures that we come across. But I'm attending a lot of other events here in the UK to learn with my kind of auditor's hat on, saying what went well. Was that food good? Was the lighting good? What about the acoustics? Was the speaker quality good? How good are the slides? Are the chairs comfortable? Just thinking about everything we can to make this a premium feel for the event.
I love that. I love that. And I know a few people have asked me privately, "Oh, are you going to live stream it?" Because that's my thing. I'm into live
Yeah.
streaming. But I can tell you that, while it might, I know that you're not ready to release all the details, but there might be a virtual replay option
Yeah,
for
we can
the
talk about
event.
that. We can
Yep.
certainly talk about that. So my issue around the live streaming of the event is when I've done my research on other events, the live streaming component usually hasn't worked very well, but also it means that the people in the room, the speakers, the presenters, they're kind of having to watch what's going on in the chat and taking questions from the audience and so forth. And I really want to focus on the energy that's in the room in the moment, capture that on camera, and then do a really good job of polishing it, captioning it, adding transcriptions, and making a package that really works for everyone that they can watch after the fact. And then giving all of that to the people who have an in-person ticket as a freebie, as part of their ticket price as well.
I love that.
And producing something that actually the speakers can be proud of. Because one thing, I've been to other events and there's either some weak photography or not great videography. And you think, well, these people are making a business from speaking on stage. They need to be able to show themselves to their future customers. So let's focus on just getting some really good videos done of them and some really good photography done. And that means that's why we're not going to do a live stream thing. However, given that you are speaking about live streaming, I think it's totally makes sense if you yourself can manage some of the live streaming, kind of almost impromptu on the day, to say, here we are at the event, this is how it works, to give people a flavor of what they're missing out on if they don't come to Birmingham. But of course, I'd love to see people there.
Awesome. Awesome. And I 100% agree. And I will be there with my, studio in a bag. I now able to put everything into one Trader Joe bag, which doesn't make sense if you don't know what Trader Joe's are. But it's like I have a very small studio. I keep it light and bright because I'm a digital nomad. So I'm going to try and live that and bring it with me. And one thing I can just tell you from Toastmasters background of doing hybrid meetings, it was very, very difficult as a presenter to give speeches to an audience and to a Zoom camera because you ignore one or the other. It's very hard to do both audiences at the same time. So I think that would have been kind of awkward. So I applaud you for not hybriding this one, because I think, you and I have been to events that were hybrid that were like, we won't go there.
It's a tough thing to pull off. And given that this is our first year, I mean, maybe if everything goes swimmingly this year and we do it again, we might say, okay, we're going to have a go at this. But I'm just mindful of not biting off more than we can chew.
I get it. So we're having a goofy day on LinkedIn today, but let's go and hit some of these comments together. LinkedIn is just having growing pains with live streaming today, but here's the tip: always multi-stream, because then you have it. So we have Kevin Turner in the house with us today, live chat with Gillian and John. What more could anyone ask for today? And we love it that Kevin's coming from Dallas. It almost sounds like a character. We got Kevin from Dallas. He's like the cowboy, Dallas cowboy. And then you got me coming from Vegas, and I'm bringing my showgirls. They're just bimbo Jillian. But, it's almost sounds, we need some New Yorkers coming, just to bring that. And of course, we've got G coming from Texas. So she's,
the more the merrier from the USA. Yeah, the more the merrier. Hop on the same plane and come over and see us. That'd be fantastic. And am I right in saying that you haven't actually physically met Kevin yet?
No.
That's amazing that you're going to meet him in the UK.
I know. It's like Americans. So it's like we're only like a couple of states away. We're not quite on the same time zone, but it's like I haven't met G either, and so we'll all be meeting together. So it's just ridiculous. You have to get on a plane to go meet somebody in your own country. So but maybe my travels might get me to meet them sooner. So that'd be nice. So we have Annette Richmond here. Hey, Jeff. And so people on LinkedIn are still hopping in. Thanks, Annette, for joining us today. Yeah. Oh, we got Jeff over on YouTube. We know things are not working on LinkedIn because he's usually first in the house. He says, okay, Kevin, LinkedIn won. Okay. So it's great. Look, we got Jeff. He's bouncing back and forth. He's on two things at one time. I love it. Annette Richmond, they're all chatting to each other, spicing up the lobby experience. And that's always what's so fun. We got a little jalapeno hopping in there. That's always a fun part about, coming on a live. We got all these people. We got Mary Wu here. And I love how everybody says hello to each other. And it's always just awesome. Now we have Niraj. Now Niraj is one of the folks that is coming, correct?
He is.
Yeah, it would be nice. We need like a master list. I want to see a master list. And actually, has anybody talked about that, John, of like, who's coming?
Yeah, a few people have asked, and I've shared a list inside Espresso Plus of the Espressians who are coming. I don't know about the privacy of releasing a public list of all the attendees, because I don't want people to get spammed from others. But if I have people's permission to share their name, maybe you can just DM me and say, yes, I'm happy to say that I'm coming. Then I'm happy to share that, because, we've got people like Niraj, we've got Ella coming, we've got people like Mick Adams coming over from Belgium. So, it's going to be fantastic. And if we have space for it, we'll see if there's any chance that we can do some kind of, maybe some specialist tables or something, because I know Niraj would love to speak to people about, sales tactics on LinkedIn. Ella would love to speak to people about personal branding. So if we have time, maybe, we can have themes in the room between the talks to say, here's your resident expert on that kind of thing. So we'll see how much time we've got, because the day is packed. There's so many good speakers, and we're going to have a Q&A at the end as well. So I'm going to ask you to come up on stage with me at the end, Gillian, and we're going to see if we can answer questions together, which I think will be a lovely end to the day. But it's going to be full on, really packed with value. And again, really looking forward to it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we've got Kevin. He's able to see us on YouTube and LinkedIn. Oh, we have the lovely Tina. So
Nice.
Tina with two eyes. She was the latest speaker announcement this morning, and she's just awesome. She's just awesome. And again, it's very interesting. I'll just do a side note, and I hope Tina won't mind me sharing this, but she actually made a vision board a year ago or sometime last year. And she made a vision board and she said, these are the people she wanted to meet. And she put Oprah Winfrey and Brene Brown and me.
Oh, bless. Wow.
And I was
There you
just
go.
like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
You're
And
in great
so,
company.
it's kind of that thing that like, if you write it or if you draw it, because of course, Tina with her little sketch notes, but when we have set an intention for something, it happens. And that's what I love about this. It's just that like you have a vision and you move forward and everybody supports you. And that I think is what's so wonderful because I think there could be somebody that's thinking about doing an event like this and just going, oh, if I build it, will they come? And I think it's kind of like Kevin Costner in The Field of Dreams. It's like, if we do build something and if it's passionate and we're committed and there's no chance to draw back, it's like miracles happen. It all kind of goes together. It's such an
Yeah,
amazing thing.
I think you need to write down those intentions and then be prepared to take massive action to make it happen. Just writing down, I'd love to run a conference is just the first step. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen. And this is what we're going to document in the fullness of time. But I've been really touched at how many people have just said yes to the idea of coming to the UK for something like this. And so I just can't wait to meet those people, including you, Gillian. So it's
I
a real
know.
honor to host you. And I think it's just going to be one that we remember for the rest of our lives, actually, not to get too emotional about it, but these are going to be relationships that we remember for a long, long time, that we make that we strengthen, I should say, in that room. And of course, make in that room, because there'll be people that you've not met before. But
Exactly.
hopefully you'll be looking out on the stage at the audience and seeing so many people, and what a wonderful feeling that's going to be, that you're talking to your friends about a topic you love. It's going to be awesome.
So if anybody is sitting here, maybe learning about the conference for the first time, because we just never know where people are at with their LinkedIn journey or when they're coming to any of these LinkedIn live events or listening on the podcast. If somebody was sitting there and they said, is this right for me? Is this a good conference? Is this a right fit for me? If I'm willing to travel from whatever corner of the world I'm coming from, who is this conference for, John?
I'd like to say that anyone who's watching a LinkedIn live video, it probably is for them, because that most people frankly think of LinkedIn as just some glorified job site or a CV site. And it really isn't much, much more than that. If you're a complete newbie, this is not the event for you. If you've already got a functioning LinkedIn profile and you want to just move up to the next level and understand some of the strategy and some of the features and some of the thinking that goes into making a successful LinkedIn presence, then this is very much for you. We bill it as an event for LinkedIn specialists, power users, and enthusiasts. But that enthusiasts group is quite big. There's a lot of people. There's 14 million people who have creator mode turned on their LinkedIn account. Those are people who are using LinkedIn more than the average person. Potentially any of those might be interested in a topic in a conference where we're going to talk about advanced search. We're going to talk about the algorithm. We're going to talk about Sales Navigator, profile optimization, and live stream video, among other things. So those people who want to learn from the best without any kind of spammy selling from the stage, we're not going to do any of that rubbish that you get at other places. We're not going to try and sell you anything from the stage. You're coming for the quality of the speakers. Then it'll be the place for you.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm assuming that the quality of your speakers is reflected in who you are, who you are, John, and you attract the best. You absolutely attract the best into your world with your Friday Shout, your Espresso Plus, and everyone who's just a John Espirian fan like me. And I think the quality is nice because you're not going to just come in here something fluffy. You're going to leave. I think everyone who comes will come with like a powerful takeaways, lessons, et cetera. And like you said, it won't be, here's my commercial to now go buy my $6 million
absolutely. I mean,
course.
I don't know if you're the same as me, Gillian, but events in the UK, whenever they focus on social media, they're often LinkedIn's left out of that conversation for starters. It's not even treated as though it is a social media platform, which it absolutely is. And then when it is mentioned, it's done in such a superficial way, make sure you've got a profile photo kind of thing. Like we need to go beyond that. So if you've been watching this platform for any period of time, you know that the speakers that we've invited are real experts at what they're doing. You're not going to come to a conference where Kevin D. Turner is going to tell you that you should have a profile photo. That is not going to happen. You're going to get deep insights about how this place works and how you can use it to move your business forward strategically. That's what it's all about, really. Networking with people is great, but actually, let's see, how can we do better business, be better business people on the platform that we love so much? So that's what you're going to get. And I'm trying to do everything as ethically and inclusively and accessible as possible. So, Jeremy, one of our co-organizers, is deaf. So we're thinking about putting captions on the screen, making everything accessible for the attendees to access, all of those things to make a good conference experience. Lois, my partner, is going to be watching like an eagle to make sure that food that we serve is nutritious, good quality. We're going to try and think of everything to make this the best event possible.
Wow. I'm so excited. So let me just ask one final question. What's sort of the biggest thing that you've learned? Because I know you're always learning, always ABL, always be learning. What's sort of like, I did not know what I did not know. What's sort of been the biggest learning curve for you?
I think just the sheer amount of thinking that you need to do about doing things in the right order. So we haven't really spelled it out in fine detail here, but there's so many moving parts to organizing a conference. You register a domain, create a website, set up a ticketing system, get yourself a logo, create badges for the people who are going to attend, pay for speakers, approach the speakers, book hotels for them, negotiate contracts. There's just so many things. Do the promotion, keep people informed, tell them where hotels are. There's just a lot. There's really a lot. And it's not for the faint of heart. And yes, we're hopefully going to make a profit out of this. But if you're just doing it just to profit, that ain't going to work. You've got to love this thing. You've got to have a vision for this event needs to happen. And I'm going to work really long hours to make it happen. That's the stage we're in. What I'm really looking forward to is that payoff, though. That night before, we're going to have a pre-event party as well and a meal. So that, and seeing all you people coming from around the world together, and then actually seeing you on the stage with that microphone, talking to all those people who are really interested in the subject, that's probably going to be the highlight of my professional life, frankly. And I just can't wait for it, really.
That's amazing. And one last thing, I know that you have a podcast, which is an amazing, like even you could just do a whole thing on the marketing of what's involved with this, because that's a whole hat unto itself. But with having a podcast was an awesome way to kind of keep people in the loop. Is that a thing that anybody can listen to, even if you haven't bought a ticket? What are sort of the requirements for that podcast?
Yeah, it's going out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Apple and Amazon Music, and you can search Uplift Live in any of those to find it. And so we've got a trailer and we've got interviews with the speaker, including you. And I put that together with a combination of StreamYard and Camtasia and Hello Audio, if you want to go and look up those tools. And it's been a fantastic learning process. And I think we've produced something really, really good. So tune in later this week, because our penultimate speaker is being announced on Thursday. And our final speaker is next week. And then finally, we can just there are no more secrets then, and we can just talk openly about who everyone is.
Wow.
And if you can zoom your camera in enough, the pink post-it notes are the speaker names, but I don't think you can zoom in closely enough. So it's still a secret for now.
I love it. I love it. I'm sure everybody's like, pinching the screen with their
Yeah.
phone, just kind
Good
of
luck.
going, okay, how
Good
does
luck.
this work? How does this work? And I've tried it myself just because you just never know. You just never know. So this has been an amazing 30 minutes. Thank you, John, for coming and giving us this behind the scenes tour of Uplift Live. I'm so excited about this. I hope everyone else is excited about this. And I truly encourage people, first, come join us. I got to get that out of the way. Just come join us. But the other thing too is use this as a learning experience for if you set that goal and you write it down and then begin to take the action to make your dreams reality. It happens. And, it's wonderful because the universe supports you, your community supports you. And this is what I love about LinkedIn. It's this kind of thing where we bring stuff together. And this will be the first conference I've ever been to where LinkedIn wasn't not mentioned. It's like front and center.
Absolutely. And can I say one more thing before we go? Because I don't think you know this, but our prices are going up next week. So if you want to get a ticket, uplift-live.com this week, you'll get a better price than next week. So just keep that in mind. If you're on the fence, don't wait too long because the prices will be going up.
I love it. I love it. And if you're an Espresso Plus member, you get an even better discount. You get a discount, correct?
If you're part of the community, you'll get the best possible price, and you can join monthly or yearly, and we'd love to see you in the community. If you do that, you will definitely get a massive discount. Currently an £80 discount on the price of the ticket, but the ticket price will be going up next week.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? Lock in. Be like G. She locked in. She bought her ticket. She says, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. But she said, she's like Willy Wonka with the golden ticket. It's like, I'm going because she just didn't want to miss out. So that's what, just do it. Just do it. Okay. Well, thanks so much, John, for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us today. We love you. And just thanks. We'll see you guys all next week. Bye.
Cheers.
Now I got to get my outro.